like to ask Rachel Norton, Executive Director of the State Parks Foundation.
All right. Well, good afternoon. And I am indeed Rachel Norton. I'm the Executive Director of the California State Parks Foundation. And I think I can speak for all of us that we're so pleased to be here today to talk about what state parks mean to Californians and about the parks' needs and challenges, and to give you information about how all of us in the partner community are working shoulder to shoulder with the dedicated people of the state park system to meet those needs. And particularly, I'm looking forward to your committee's questions and engagement and leadership in helping all of us keep this incredible system moving forward. It's really wonderful that you pulled together this panel. It's particularly important, I think, for all of you to understand how these three partnerships and other partners who you're going to hear from as well work together. The department, Parks California, the foundation really work collaboratively together to support the system, and we strive always for alignment and shared priorities. Each of us do our work differently, but we all have a role to play. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what California State Parks Foundation's role is. Next slide, please. For over 50 years, California State Parks Foundation has been the leading statewide voice in advocating for a sustainably funded state park system, access to parks for all, and enduring park protection. Our mission over all that time has been to protect and preserve the California State Park System for the benefit of all. We envision a future where Californians have a state park system that is accessible and relevant, adequately and sustainably funded, and stewarded for future generations. Next slide, please. William Penn Mott Jr. was the director of California State Parks in 1969 when he gathered a group of prominent Californians together to form a partner organization for the state park system, that organization that became California State Parks Foundation. Mr. Mott knew that state parks needed the love, support, and stewardship of everyone in our big, diverse state. Over time, California State Parks Foundation grew and changed to meet the needs of the state park system, and that is our commitment. We are here to fight for parks and the Californians and visitors who use them, and this commitment will never change. Our commitment involves, next slide please, our commitment involves creating a bigger tent, ensuring that our work reflects the needs and the values of the most marginalized Californians, and serving as a network builder and funder for those communities to ensure that their needs are centered in parks. We are working with state parks, partners, and Californians on solutions to address the following critical issues. Next slide. Climate impacts, intense bomb cyclones, heat domes, wildfires, and rare hurricanes, and that might have only just been the last month or two in California. They are here, and our beloved parks can be climate resilient with investment and planning. We're using the best available science and research to learn deeply about climate threats and solutions, to educate Californians and the legislature, activate people to take action, and ultimately influence policy and legislation that prioritizes communities most affected by climate change. Next slide. California state parks are public spaces, but many people, as we've heard, cannot access or experience them. Barriers to park access include lack of transportation, the cost of visiting, lack of awareness of parks and the activities that they offer, and more. And we're really proud to have worked since 2018 with the First Partner and with UCLA to articulate the need for more access to parks, work that was integral to creating the past pilots that the director mentioned. And I do want to talk specifically about the Library Pass. We were so fortunate to receive very generous donations from an individual donor and from REI so that we were able to place backpacks with gear in 500 backpacks backpacks across the state park system to help extend the experience of visiting. When folks check out a pass, they also can check out a backpack, and that helps them. There's wildlife guides and other things in the backpack, and that helps them extend and enrich the experience of being there. We also, the director mentioned the QR code. We're working closely with the department, so we're taking all that survey data, and we donated an opportunity for people to win an annual pass to parks if they fill out the survey as an additional inducement. So the data, as the director alluded to, is just incredible that is coming out of that program.
Wonderful.
Sorry, I had to talk a little bit more about access. We have also worked closely with the department and with Parks California and Save the Redwoods League as presenting partners of California State Parks Week, which also invites more Californians to experience and enjoy their state park system. Next slide. To support park excellence and a thriving state park system, sufficient staffing, funding, and effective park policies are really critical. We ensure park excellence by fighting for a fully funded California state park system and by creating thriving partnership programs so that state parks can benefit from the work of all nonprofit partners, especially the park operators and co-ops represented by the California League of Park Associations, another important partner. We also provide grants to improve and enhance park amenities and infrastructure. Next slide. By expanding park staff's capacity, volunteers help overcome resource constraints and carry out essential stewardship tasks such as trail maintenance, habitat restoration, planting, and more. Their involvement fosters community engagement and connection, spreading awareness and inspiring others to appreciate and protect these natural and cultural treasures. Because of our program, 90% of volunteers feel more connected to state parks, 90% feel more part of a community of park supporters, and 80% are more likely to return to state parks. Among park staff, 95% feel supported in the planning and execution of workdays, and that our workdays produce a high-quality impact on their park. Next slide. As Mr. Mott knew, parks need an engaged constituency to thrive. We engage that constituency by building communities around parks, working with partners all over California of all sizes. We work with you, the legislature, to ensure that state parks are a priority in the state budget and in legislation. And finally, we engage Californians to experience, steward, and advocate for their parks. Whether it's volunteering, donating, joining as one of our 70,000 members, or advocating, we empower champions for parks. Next slide. One of the most important ways that we work with you, the legislature, is by engaging advocates and park supporters in your districts and connecting them with your offices so that voices are heard. We also regularly engage in policy discussions in Sacramento and present educational webinars so that park advocates can learn about the issues and how to be effective advocates for parks. All right, next slide, almost done. I would like to leave you now with some of our key legislative priorities for parks. First, parks need sustained multi-year investment in reducing the staggering deferred maintenance backlog that affects access and visitor experience in parks across the system. Second, the department has done an incredible job in implementing these 3 pass pilots that were enacted in 2021. And they have expanded access to many Californians who previously lacked the resources to visit parks. Those pilots have been so successful and should be extended and expanded. Finally, our parks can meet the challenges posed by climate change if there are additional resources to plan and for worsening impacts of sea level rise, wildfires, extreme heat, and loss of biodiversity. Every park needs a funded climate resilience plan to ensure that we can protect these incredible places and offer respite and recreation for impacted communities. Last slide. Thank you so much for your time, and I will be very happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. I sure appreciate that you included our colleague, who is also a member of this committee, Assemblymember
You caught that.
Rebecca Bayer-Cahan, who is chair of the Water Parks and Wildlife.
Yes.
Thank you.